Hello, everyone. My name is Jay Roberts, and I am the owner of J Nairobi Beauty Enterprises. I am a beauty industry veteran where I have held a master cosmetology license for over 18 years. I'm also a master cosmetology instructor licensed in the state of Georgia. So basically, I run a beauty consultancy business. What I do and what's my superpower is I transform unlicensed, unskilled, and underpaid beauty workers into licensed beauty professionals that is sought out for their high skill level and paid their worth. So I'm big into transformation. So as you can see, beauty is a huge part of my world. I love it. I've been working in the industry for many, many years. So that concept is very near and dear to me. With that being said, I kind of just want to chat with you today. It is my purpose to discuss with you how to transition from physical beauty to true beauty. We want to have true beauty in everything that we do. So kind of how it's going to go, I'm just going to chat, talk. I definitely want to inspire, my viewers and just help anyone I can to build the confidence they need to go and live and thrive and build the life they desire, just like I have. So kind of how this is going to flow. If you see me looking down, I do have a couple of notes because I want to make sure I get all my topics in. I didn't want to go by memory because we're going to deal with a lot of memes. So if you see me looking down or to the side, just know that I'm referencing my notes, but I think it'll be good. So kind of how we're going to do, I'm going to give you some of my back history. Then I'm going to define beauty, and then I'm going to define true beauty. I'm going to discuss some of the scientific data relating to beauty, and then we're going to talk about transformation because that's the key. We want to go from unhealthy beauty to true beauty. Okay. So I remember coming into the knowledge of beauty at a very, very early age. Unfortunately, it was not a positive one for me. If you do any research about child development from the ages of infancy to 7 or 8 years old, they will tell you that those are critical years for a child. There are certain social skills, motor skills, communication, learning styles, attachment styles, etc., that needs to develop during that time period so that that child or individuals do not have complications later. We know that if some things don't acquire while we're young and we don't get those life skills, it's not impossible. However, it can become a little bit more difficult when you become older. So if a child is wounded, experience some type of trauma, abandonment, rejection, etc., that can leave a negative mindset on the child. Not only that, it can also create a negative identity for that particular child. And whether we believe it or not, how we see ourselves and what our identity we're functioning off of, that governs everything about our lives. So we have to be mindful of that. I can remember being a cheerleader when I was young. Every year we had homecoming, and there was a homecoming court during the halftime. During the homecoming court, the nominees for king and queen was escorted by one of the football players from the team. That's kind of just how our team did it. I know everybody have a different homecoming experience, but at that time when I was a little girl, probably about 5 or 6, that's how they did it. They didn't have our parents. They just had one of the football team little boys from there escort us. Well, when it was my time to go down the homecoming court with my football player, this young man threw a fit. I mean, just had a complete tantrum on me. He made it clear he did not want to go down the court with me. And to make matters worse, his mother then came over there, saw the situation, and she co-signed. She didn't want her son to go down the court with me either. So I'm there looking like, wow. Now, you know how mamas are. You know, my mama came over there then because she was like, whoa, what y'all doing to my baby girl? So she intervened, and at the end of the day, not to prolong the homecoming court or to make a big scene, they got me another football player to come and escort me down the court. However, that experience as a little girl, I stood there humiliated. I was embarrassed. I thought maybe I just was not pretty enough. So I'm crying, I'm devastated. Mama trying to talk to me, get me to the better place. But that experience always stuck with me for years. So as I progressed through elementary school, I would also have instances of being teased. Now, when I was younger, I was a very, very thin. I don't know if y'all are familiar with the term bony. Those are people that just have a very, very thin composition or body frame. So that was me. So I remember wearing under 100 pounds for the longest. I was in high school, still just very, very skinny, very, very bony. So I can remember people teasing me as a child. And I also remember, I'll never forget his name, and I'm not going to say it. He would make it his business, I guess, while we were in school, to tease Miss Jennifer. So he would even find me at lunchtime, because sometimes I'd be like, okay, I'm going to escape this dude. I'm not going to see him. However, sometimes he just would find me and come behind me in the lunch line. And he had a comment about my body, about my hair, about my legs, about my behind, about my arms. And I'm like, Lord Jesus. He would say things, you're so skinny, you look bony, you have a huge forehead. I would call you headquarters. Now, I'm still remembering this, even as an adult. And he used to call me Flatty Patty whenever I used to walk. He used to walk behind me, Flatty Patty. You know, he just used to have so many comments. It's funny. I'm not damaged. It's good. It's good. But I just remember him, I mean, every day, week after week. So the list goes on. So once again, I am dealing with maybe the male counterpart, just not thinking I'm pretty or I'm beautiful. So I created a negative identity that I was not pretty. I didn't like what I saw in the mirror. I wasn't pretty. I didn't like my body, etc. because, you know, of the experience as a young cheerleader and just going through school being teased about my body, being body shamed. So that's going to lead me to my first concept of beauty. And this concept says a combination of qualities such as shape, color, form that pleases the aesthetics or the natural senses, especially the sight. So the most general, if you Google it, this is what they're going to say. Qualities that's external, that's appeasing to the senses, especially the sight. That became my standard of beauty for a long time in my life, because unfortunately, I had to say this, even documentation supports this. In Western European culture, for a woman to be seen as attractive is very beneficial and is desired, not by all. I'm not doing an allism statement, but most men desire an attractive woman. So that's huge in our current society. So I made it my business to try to be pretty to what? The senses, and especially the sight. Now that's a very vain, superficial, but because of the identity I had running in the background that I wasn't pretty, I wasn't good enough, no man wants me, I focused on hair, nails, clothes, shoes, workout, body, because I was so concerned on what people saw. And because I had that negative mindset, I was always wanting people to validate me as beautiful. So I was always doing external things to be validated. So let me give you some data that I researched. Now, let me tell you when I give data on my platforms. It is not from Vogue. It's not from the Shade Room. I look for social scientists. Yes, there are social scientists out there that has degrees, that are doctorates, that has a method of researching a thing, controlled samples, empirical research. So I go to journals to get this information, not just doing a Google search, because we know sometimes a Google search is not going to always give you the most factual information. So I kind of wanted to get some data from some social scientists on this thing called beauty, since it's so important. And that, now, stay with me. This is not for everyone. When I read these statements, there's just saying there's data, observations to validate these claims. Okay? The first one is beautiful people reflect more happiness throughout their lives. For one, they're treated better. Just off of beauty, the physical sense, especially with the sight. You remember that? They also found that the universal beauty standard for a woman is the hourglass. They interviewed European, Asian, African. Now, we know different cultures have, once again, I'm not saying all, but they did international studies. And one of the most desired beauty traits for a woman is more of the hourglass, to where the midsection is in and then curves out. That reflects fertility. It reflects beauty, youthfulness, reproduction, etc. Another statistic, people that are beautiful are naturally perceived as more likable. Wow. I mean, it's not necessarily that it's merited. It's not necessarily that they're better, but if you're extremely attractive, somehow people just tend to perceive that you're more likable. It is documentation that supports that attractive people tend to earn more money. It is also stated that the attractiveness for a woman is a universal exchange of value in a relationship. So they stated that for relationships, one of the initial, not the primary, but one of the initial values of a woman is being attractive. Woo, now this is not right, but I'm sorry to tell a lot of women, sometimes initial beauty does have its privileges. Is it fair? No. But is there research and documentation out there to support this? Unfortunately, yes. And I can remember my friend Yolanda. In short, she was a beautiful, beautiful young lady. Beautiful. And unfortunately, she was very, very dark skinned. And she had very, very short hair. And at that time, she wasn't really into the relaxing. And I just remember all of the things she had to entail. I mean, I guess at that time, I was light skinned. I had very long hair. I was thin. I guess, you know, I was in the in crowd. But I could just remember Miss Yolanda be treated. I mean, they used to kick dirt on her, call her black, you ugly, your mama left you in the stove too long, just because they didn't perceive her as attractive and or beautiful. So as I matured, I noticed my beauty was very, very superficial, and I needed more depth. Because let me tell you, if you're going to focus on superficial beauty, you're going to get superficial results. Let me say that again. If you focus on superficial beauty, you're going to get superficial results. That means you're going to get superficial relationships, superficial jobs. You're going to go to a superficial faith-based organization. You're going to get in superficial social clubs, because you're going to attract who you are, and they're never going to fulfill you. Okay, so I knew I needed to transfer into natural beauty, true beauty, which is my topic. So I had to do the work. So I was like, I got to go to counseling. These results in my life, and y'all, people would say I was attractive. I had a 6-digit income, beautiful things, but there were still parts of me. I was like, something is not right. I had to deal with that false identity from my youth, that I was not attracted and I'm not enough. And I'm especially not enough for men. I had to deal with that. Because it was just leading me into, once again, superficial and bad relationships in all spectrums of my life. So I got counseling. I found an awesome life coach that did negative pattern breaking and identity transformation. And then we got on the right track. They helped bring me into my true identity. That's what I want to talk about today, because that's what my message, but I just wanted to give you that back history so you could truly understand. So with that said, let me read you the definition for true beauty from Merriam website dictionary. The quality or aggregate of qualities in a person or thing that exalts the mind or spirit. So regular beauty focus on what the aesthetic. True beauty focus on the mind and the spirit. When I saw that, I was like, wow. I had the physical beauty, but I needed to beautify my mind and spirit. So basically, I had to deal with the internal part of me. I had to deal with the internal part of me. So I had to do some work. I went to counseling, the therapist, the life coach, etc. So if you connect with this story, if you feel you're not enough, if you feel that you're not naturally beautiful without aesthetics, without hair, weave, makeup, purse, being hypersexual, having nice cars and things to validate you, you need to do some internal work. That's why so many times when I see women and I'm seeing how they're showing up in life, I never judge, because only love come out, because I've been there before. I'm like, sis, come on, let me talk to you. Let me really help you transform into your true beauty so you can love yourself and love yourself better than how you're showing up. So, like we said, true beauty is the quality or aggregate of qualities in a person or thing that exalts the mind or spirit. So therefore, to transition from a basic beauty to true beauty, I like that, transform from basic beauty to true beauty, you're gonna have to do some things. And let me just give you some action steps. Now, I can't go into detail, but at least this get you going. And if you want to follow up with me, just reach out to Speak Up Sis, and they'll definitely link us up. So you got to do some mind work. To have true beauty, you have to do some mind work. What does that look like, J. Nairobi? Well, I'm going to tell you, you're probably going to have to go to counseling. You're probably going to have to go to therapy, because if you're not getting the results you need and there are things missing in your life, it's just a faulty mindset working, and you don't even know it's operating because it's subconscious. It may be something that's so suppressed, but it's still negatively affecting your life. And sometimes you won't even see it. You would need someone that has a specialty in that to assist you. Okay? Get a life coach. You're going to have to change your environment. Truly, if you're functioning under an inappropriate mindset or basic beauty, and all your friends are basic, and the men are basic, and your church or your social group is basic, that environment is not going to get you to true beauty, to where you're being exalted from your mind and your spirit. So you're probably going to have to change your environment. You know, who are you around? You're going to have to change your media environment. I'm learning now the media environment is more powerful than the physical environment right now. The things that we entertain via the internet, you're probably going to have to clean that up. Some of them chat groups, some of y'all with y'all fans only, some of that, you're going to have to come up out of, okay? You're going to have to start doing affirmations. You're going to have to ID that negative mindset or that negative pattern that's in your subconscious. You're going to have to start bringing new information and doing affirmations to counter that. You're going to have to start plugging into new information. You're going to have to start plugging into new information. So you're going to have to probably start learning about the mind, living healthy, soul prospering. You're just going to have to get some new data, because you know, when you come into any faith, you're going to have to transform your mind, regardless of whatever faith based group you believe. That means you're going to have to get the doctrine of that group. So the same thing, to transform, you're going to have to get some new data. You're gonna have to start reading some different type of literature. You're gonna have to get in some different type of master classes. You're gonna have to get in some different type of training. And the last thing is you're definitely going to have to get some accountability. So many people be like, oh, I got myself in this, I'll get myself out. Wrong. If you got yourself into it, you can never get yourself out. Okay? So you got to get some accountability through a trusted friend or some type of professional that can help you. Now, that's some of the things you can do for the mind to help transition and get that beauty to come forth, so you'll be exalted because of your mind and your spirit, not your basic beauty. Okay, so let's look at the spirit. Okay, you're going to have to start to study something that's faith-based or a thought leader. You're going to have to begin to pray, meditate, join a community of like-minded people, journal. You're going to have to start doing all of this to help develop your spirit, because your mind and your spirit, think of your mind as your mind, will, and emotions, and think of that spirit part of you. That's the thing that always wants to connect with a higher power. Let me say that again. The mind, will, and emotions, okay? Your intellect, your reasoning, your decision-making, your emotions, your feelings, it's all a part of your mind. But when I'm talking about spirit now, that's the actual part of you that want to be linked with God, okay? So it can impact the mind. Not to go too far into that. So those are two keys to being truly, truly, truly beautiful. So then once you start focusing on the mind and the spirit, I love it because it's going to run you dead into your purpose. See, I thought Miss Corporate America was my purpose. I was in senior leadership positions. Blah, blah, blah. That was basic. When I truly got into true beauty and started dealing with my mind and my spirit, I learned I was a healer. I help people heal. I'm a life coach. I'm a lover. I'm compassionate. See, the things that truly bring value to people's lives, not cars and monies and lace fronts and nails and okay? So I love when you start to focus on your mind and your spirit, because it runs you right into purpose. And not only that, it's going to run you right into, you're going to be so peaceful because what, your identity is not broken anymore. You don't care what people think. You know who you are. Like right now, it don't even matter. If I want to be all glammed up, we can go out. If not, I want to throw a little hat, some sneaks. We can do that as well. You know, and it doesn't matter what people are saying or what people are thinking. In a relationship that don't work out, it's okay. You're lost. No, I'm just playing. It's okay if the relationship does not work out. I don't have to be traumatized. It's like, okay, there's something better coming along, because my identity is not in that, and I'm not looking for validation. So you see, when these things shift, you just get purpose. You get peace. So I don't want to go too far into it. You know, I just wanted to definitely come in here and minister to any man or woman that just had a flawed sense of beauty. So true beauty is when you're exalted because of your mind and your spirit, not the basic beauty of the aesthetics. So with that said, I am closing, and thank you again for this awesome opportunity.